Hello everyone. Now, since it's the 75th anniversary of World War II, we're going to be doing a new World War II series based on War Thunder. And we're going to be starting with the Munich Crisis and the breakup of Czechoslovakia, as you can see from the gameplay. This is from the 28th of September 1938 to the 15th of March 1939. After Hitler had taken his Austrian homeland in March 1938, he began to make preparations to seize Czechoslovakia, on the pretense that he was helping his fellow Germans oppressed by Czech rule in the Sudeten areas of northern Czechoslovakia. On May 28th, following the weekend crisis of the 20th to the 21st of May, when the Czech government, fearing an imminent German invasion, ordered the mobilization of its forces, Hitler told his military commanders to plan a short, sharp war against the Czechs for the autumn of 1938. "I am utterly determined," he said, "that Czechoslovakia should disappear from the map." He didn't like Czechoslovakia, obviously. If he didn't want them on the map, quite Hitler thought he could isolate the Czechs and reach a quick military solution before the other powers intervened. The military planning went ahead, reflecting Hitler's anxiety to wage a small, victorious war. In February, he had scrapped the War Ministry and taken over supreme command of the armed forces himself. The fight against the Czechs was a way of making his mark as a military leader, and an opportunity to improve Germany's economic and strategic position in Central Europe. The crisis could not be isolated, as pressure built up on the Czech government to make concessions on the Sudeten German minority. Britain and France both acted to try and find a negotiated political solution. France had treaty obligations to help the Czech state, and the Soviet Union was also committed to intervening, as soon as France did so too. In neither state was there much enthusiasm for the prospect of war. Britain, meanwhile, had no treaty obligations, but the Prime Minister, Neville Chamberlain, hoped to use his influence to bring out a negotiated settlement as part of his strategy of appeasement of Germany. In August 1938, the British politician Lord Runciman was sent on a League of Nations mission to the Sudetenland and returned arguing that major concessions could be made by Czech government to the German community. Hitler stuck to his guns. German leaders attacked the Czechs in the press, and on the platform by the beginning of September it seemed likely that Hitler would launch a military campaign in the near future. To avert this, on the 15th of September, Chamberlain took the dramatic step of flying to meet Hitler at his mountain retreat in Berchtesgaden. I can't pronounce that. Chamberlain conceded the need for self-determination, while Hitler promised not to make war on the Czechs, but he had no intention of honouring his word. Chamberlain flew again to meet the German leader on the 22nd of September at Bad Godesberg, and this time the atmosphere was quite different, with Hitler insisting that he would occupy the Sudeten areas no later than the 1st of October. Chamberlain returned home to a cabinet now determined not to concede. France and Britain both prepared for war. On the 26th of September, Chamberlain sent his personal envoy, Sir Horace Wilson, to see Hitler, and on the following day he made it absolutely clear that German violation of Czech sovereignty would mean war. So, basically, that's the first half of it. On the 28th of September, Hitler, with great reluctance, gave in, under pressure from his party leaders, and aware that German public opinion was strongly against the European war. He accepted Mussolini's suggestion of a summit conference in Munich, to which the Soviet Union was not invited. Hitler was sulky and ill at ease throughout the Munich discussions, which ended on the 30th of September with an agreement from the cession of the Sudeten areas to Germany and a timetable for German occupation. Unlike Japan in Manchuria and Italy in Abyssinia, Hitler's plan for a short war of conquest was frustrated. Munich is usually seen as a humiliating defeat for the British and friends, but in reality it was defeat for Hitler's plan for war. His frustration was to make it impossible to negotiate away the next crisis in 1939 over the city of Danzig. Almost as soon as the ink was dry on the Munich Agreement, Hitler told his foreign minister, Joachim von Ribbentrop, that he would march on Prague and smash the Czech remnants. When the opportunity came, the Czech state was put under pressure to reach advantageous trade agreements to help German rearmament and concede the right to build a motorway across the Czech land. In the Slovak areas, the German collaborated with the Slovak separatist movement, putting pressure on the Prague government to grant independence. Bit by bit, the Czech lands were being drawn into the German orbit. The isolation of Czechoslovakia after Munich also encouraged its other neighbours to join the search for spoils. On 30th of October, Poland demanded the cession of the Teschen region, and the Czech government complied. On the 2nd of November, territorial concessions were made to Hungary in southern Slovakia. Germany then demanded that the Prague government turn Czechoslovakia into a virtual German dependency. It was only a matter of time before the remaining Czechoslovak area was broken up. On the 12th of January 1939, orders were issued to German army units to prepare to occupy the Czech lands. Though no final decision had yet been taken, the immediate trigger for the actual invasion was the breakdown in relations. The Czech and the Slovaks. In March, the Slovak government in Bratislava refused to abandon its claim for independence, thereby provoking the Prague government to declare martial law and send troops into Slovakia. The leader of the Slovak separatists, Joseph Tiso, fled to Vienna and then to Berlin, where Hitler encouraged him to call the Slovak Assembly together, which then declared independence on the 14th of March. The Czech president, Emil Hácha, took the train to Berlin to seek Hitler's advice. And in the early hours of 15th of March, after Hermann Göring had planned a vision for him and of German bombers over Prague, he invited Germany to occupy and protect Czechoslovakia. At 6 o'clock in the morning, German forces occupied the Czech provinces of Bohemia and Moravia, while the Hungarian army seized control of some Slovak provinces. The following day, the Czech areas were declared a German protectorate, and the former German Foreign Minister, Konstantin von Neurath, was appointed First Reich Protector. Major Czech businesses, including the famous Skoda armaments complex, were brought under direct German control, and Czech military supplies helped to equip 15 German infantry divisions and 4 armoured divisions for the coming conflict. Slovakia was made an independent pro-German state under Tiso and remained a close ally down to 1944. The occupation of the rest of Czechoslovakia tore up the short-lived Munich Agreement, and the British and French governments could do nothing to save Czechoslovakia, which had not actually been invaded but forced to invite German occupation. But the decision to incorporate non-German peoples in the new German Empire prompts Neville Chamberlain on the 17th of March to make a powerful speech condemning German action. The Prague occupation had finally convinced him that there was no room for a negotiated settlement, and he warned that if any nation tried to dominate Europe, Britain would resist to the utmost of its power. A few days later, prompted by warnings from the security services of an imminent German occupation of Poland, Chamberlain offered the historic guarantee of Polish sovereignty in the House of Commons on 31st of March. The Czech crisis had paved the way for the final countdown to war. Goodbye. I'll see you in the next video.